Hello, and welcome back to the Thursday Night Kissaten podcast. Thursday Night Kissaten is a podcast that we talk about Japanese TV shows, movies, books, and other pop cultures. We update weekly every Thursday night around 5 p.m. This podcast is written and hosted by me, Cordelia. Hello. Long time no see. How are you doing? I know we said a short break last year, and we only returned almost over 6 months now. It's a long break, isn't it? A lot happened, mainly because I was in several accidents and I was in several surgeries, but I'm still alive and I'm doing better. So I hope this episode is finding you well no matter where you are. Today in this episode, we're going to talk about a non-fiction that based on several live real stories and is adapted a TV show. I love my family for who they are. 家族だから愛してじゃなくて、愛してたのが家族だった。Which was the book was published in 2020 and written by the writer Nami Kista. I first got to know this book was by watching the TV show first. I remember it was last summer, which was 2023. And it was a NHK production. It's starring Yumi Kawai as the main character, Nanami, and Maki Sakai as the mom, Aoi Yusuda as the younger brother, Ryo Nishikito as the father, and Jun Miho as the grandmother. The original book was a collection of writer Nami Kishida's family and the family's life together that she posted on a blog on a Japanese blogger website called Note. On November 9th, 2019, writer Nami Kishida started a blog about her wheelchair bonded mother, a younger brother with Down syndrome, and the dad in her memory who passed away when she was in 8th grade. The days that Kishida spends with her families are filled with everything from a laugh to tear. So, just as the beginning of the adaptation TV show, our main character, Nanami, says, if everyone needs some good material to make a touched movie or TV show that makes the whole world cry their hearts out, they should take my family story. By 2020, Nami Kishida's blog reached more than 8 million views. So the publishing house Shogakukan published an essay collection, which includes Nami's posts and other interviews that she had with her families at the same year. It's all based on real life story. It was a very challenging one for Nami, but it was a very inspiring one for the whole world. People read her stories, laugh and cry, and spend a lot of time to think about life and what the meaning of it, about their own life, not just Nami's. She encourages so many people. Of course, the TV production company has to adopt this into a real TV show. And at the TV show at the beginning, that they have to say, oh, this is a fictional TV show, this is a fictional story script, but the main character, Nanami, looking at the camera and says, but 99% based on truth. And also about the title, I love my family for who they are. I think most of the people who are from the Eastern Asian culture will understand that We have been told that we have to love our family because they're our family. Of course, we have to love them for no reason. And here, Nami in the book and also the Nanami in the TV show says that, no, I love them because who they are. There's no certainty. They're not what is supposed to be. There is just my heart that attached with them deeply and bonded. Before we dive into the story and also this book, I want to introduce to my listener a little bit background about the disabilities or how they received in Japan. So first of all, the disability rights movement in Japan took many decades to develop. A TV show or a movie to explore the people with various different kinds of disabilities are hardly to be found among the Japanese media. There are two notions. It's like a taboo to talk about in the Japanese society or with a Japanese individual, most likely. One is disability, and another one is mental health. It's depressing. It's hopeless. So people do not like to talk about it. And for the longest time, disabled children would be separate from their families and placed in a residential institutions or hidden by their families in their houses. And unfortunately, the mother of the kid with disabilities would be bullied and discriminated against by the husband or the husband's family, that the people around them also. There are common acknowledgement. They always say that a kid with bad behaviors is the kid's mother's fault. A kid with disability is still their mother's fault. Even in the TV shows that we are talking about today, the classmates of Nanami says that about one of the classmates, they have the parents were doing some bad selling business, and the classmates were comments was like, bring up by a mom like that, there must be something wrong with her. The classmates, your mom gave birth to a child with Down syndrome as your younger brother, there must be something wrong with your mother. How about you then? Can you give birth to a healthy child? So, finally, the attention towards disability rights in Japan grew throughout in the 1970s. An increasing number of people with disabilities were leaving their family house and residential institutions in move towards to independent living, and with the helps with the volunteers. But it was not until 1986 when the personal attendance for physically disabled persons movement was launched in Osaka City by the year of 1999. 153 hours of assistance were provided by the city to each disabled person. And it was until the year of 1997 there was a TV show, Your Hands Were Whispering, Kimi no te ga sasa yaite iru, which was featuring a character who lost their hearing. And later, in this recent 3 years, there are more TV shows that tell the story of people with disabilities. For example, Perfect World and Silent. The reason that those shows were made is not only to promote the representations, telling people that people with disabilities exist, but also a chance to educate the general public, to increase the awareness of disabilities, and also to have try to tell people, let them know that to have an open heart, to develop a real inclusive society. A real inclusive society. They still have a long way to go. So let's see how long it will make them to get there. So by all means, it is not easy for Nami Kishita, the writer, to talk write about her family stories publicly, like post somewhere everyone can read, and it was received such a good feedbacks from all her readers and audience, and then was pushed within 2 years 3 years to made into a TV show. The difference between the book and the TV show was the book was more focused on Nami's family's life, that she besides telling her about herself, that she focused on her interactions with her mom, her brothers, and the dad in her memories. But the TV show tells us way more about Nami, which is called Nanami in the story. Here's what I learned about Nanami. Nanami doesn't really like school. I mean, she loves to learn, but she doesn't like schooling. We all can relate it, isn't it? Nanami also does not have a lot of friends in class. She did it once at high school, and was dumped after the boy found out her brother was a Down syndrome. Nanami is very funny, but no one really gets her jokes. But her jokes came from the real life experience, like say, all the hardships. In the adapted TV shows, Nanami has a friend whose family was doing some not very good selling business. Let's say they sell waters and tell the people that the bottle of water can make them very healthy. Something like that. And Nanami's father passed away when she was in the middle school, after her dad came home late and missed a very important appointment with her. So she cursed her dad, go to hell. And her dad had a huge chest pain that night and went to ER, then passed away. And also at the last year of high school, Nanami's mom passed out all of a sudden one day at work and became paralyzed after waking up. And almost at the same time, Nanami's grandmother, who lives with them, got Alzheimer's disease. So Nanami is the only single one, for the paper to agree with her mom to receive the surgery to be alive, but only finding out she could not walk anymore. After so much thinking, crying, then thinking, and a bit talking, and there was not a lot of support or people Nanami could reach out to, Nanami decided to go to university to study social science to build a better world. In her phrase, to beat up all the stairs in front of the shops, that to build up something that is accessible for her mom to be able to visit different shops and restaurants. At this point, you may question, how much more things that someone has to suffer until they can get a peace? Well, based on my research, that Nanami's mom, the writer Nami Kishita's mom, actually had a very complex disease that happened in 2021. Likely she survived, but I'm sure it was another big hiccup for her. And she also posted about it, keep on writing. And after this book, I Love My Family for Who They Are, she published another 2, which is continually to share her experience and her life, her family's life with the audience and people. Nami Kishita, the writer herself, she worked at a organization during university. The organization was helping the people with disabilities, help them to find jobs and everything. Her mom, after waking up, after several rehab, she decided to get a therapist certificate, and she's helping people spiritually, mentally. And then after that, Nami Kishita started her own organization. She became an entrepreneur herself, set up a company to help the people with disabilities have an independent life, walk back to society and to give back to society, but also provide volunteers to help the people with disabilities. She's doing great by all means. In her book, I Love My Family for Who They Are, she shared one experience that she was interviewed by the TV program, News Zero, and was interviewed by a very famous Japanese celebrity satellite shows. Her writing was so humble. She barely focused on herself. If it's not the TV show, we barely can see who she is or to learn who she herself is. She's generosity about sharing those and to encourage so many people and help people with disabilities, no matter where they are, encouraging them, the people who are actually experiencing hardships, was a lot. It was huge. It was so meaningful. Here's more about the writer Nami Kishida. Nami Kishida was born in Kobe. She graduated from the Department of Social Entrepreneur, Faculty of Human Welfare, Kinki Daigaku University. While attending university, she worked as a founding member of Milailo, a universal design company. She served as a public relations manager. Remember what she says in the beginning? Well, the adaptation of the TV show, that the death in the family, disability, uncured disease, if any of this can be used as a plot in the movie, I'm sure the whole world will cry their heart out. But all of this happened in my family. I questioned hard while reading the book and watching the show. How much more hardship they have to go through and to reach a peaceful life. These questions that many of us as an audience, also as a being, question daily, that how much more we need to go through in our life than we can let us go. Then one day, while I'm preparing the script for this episode, I realized that we actually have more control than we thought. We even do have the choice to end everything. Therefore, we know this moment that we're breathing is our own choice. So that we're free. We don't feel stuck anymore. There is one part in this show, and also mentioned in the book, that was moved me the most. Here is a trigger alert of the suicidal thoughts. So just like Nanami, she shares with her own mom. That I think that's what in the second episode. It also mentioned in the book that the first time her mom left the hospital for more than 6 months after the surgery. Nanami's mom non-stop apologized for the situation that they're in, the tears rolling down. Both of them have the tears and with the pasta, eating the tears with the pasta and the pasta scene. The tear it was sad, and her mom feels so guilty to have a child with the Down syndrome, and also feels sorry for her own health issue, and feels extremely bad to let Nanami to come to the world and to suffer and to take everything over from her, and even herself added the burden on her own daughter. And here was Nanami said, and she asked her mom, she said, "Mom, do you want to end everything together?" Her mom keeping silent. Then Nanami said, "But I also don't want to end everything too soon. Today, everything happened that made me mad, that there's no shop that has this accessibility entrance that I can push you in with a wheelchair. Why are there not enough shops doing that? Why people treat us so weird, right? Why? And Mom, I know you're tired. I'm tired as well, but if you want to end everything, I won't stop you. I will end everything with you together. But can you please give me a bit more time? I have something that I want to do. A lot of things I want to change for you, to help you to live longer. So can you please wait for me a little bit more?" Knowing we have the choices, or not knowing there's the choices out there, Nanami's mom chose to wait longer, chose to stay and receive the help from her own daughter. And knowing the true choices out there, Nanami takes exam to university, and her dad once wished to go and gets accepted by the welfare and business double majored, and which by Nanami said by Nanami that there's all she wants is to smash the stairs in front of the shops and to make more accessible world. I think the reality and she's getting there, which I appreciate the most. In the TV show, it was very funny that how they present Nanami's dad. His dad was a ghost. He was there all the time. But in the books, it was just only the memory. That's another reason that I, really like the TV shows for this adaptation, that they manifest every individual thing that we want to know more about the family members. The way that they emerge from the dad in the house, for all those moments in the show is remarkable. How he is on the couch, how he was walking back the kitchen, and how he just, they celebrate for every small and large things of their life, and how he showed when he want to look at the photo albums. It was not scary. This ghost was so kind. It just also shows the love that her father offered. Haven't never stopped, even after he passed away. He's still there in the memory, and he was around there, not just in the memory, but his love staying with them forever. To me personally, it was nice to see the actor Leo Nisquito again on the TV. It has been so long to see him, and then nice to hear his voice as well. Nanami in the TV show says that she thinks she is looking for father figures in males particularly, of course. And her dad, as an entrepreneur himself, really set a good foundations for Nanami, or from Nami herself, to move forward her life. And Nami's mom as well. There's a saying that people say in Japan, also sometimes in China, that I heard, that becoming a mother makes one strong as a steel. Nanami's mother in the TV show, Hitomi, is very supportive, loving, strong, and funny. She's also a hardworking lady. She was studying and working full-time when she was still able to work. And even after what happened to her, she still chose to study and to help more people. It's not easy. Life is not easy for anyone. But seeing how they holding everything together, but not avoiding the topic of being depressed, hopeless, is very relatable. This TV show when Nami is sharing the story in her book, they're now just telling people like, oh, life is hard, get strong, get it through, you can do it. No. Most likely they say life is hard. If you want to give up, you have the choice. If you're tired, take a break. If you don't want to deal with it, don't deal with it. But you remember, you also have the choice to deal with it, to ask for help, to try to change it. Not to adapt it, but to make it, change it better for you. Because human is flexible. It's adaptable. And also strong. We have been non-stop changing the nature. We have been non-stop changing our life. Even Nanami's brother, her brother, in the book, it was so funny, her brother was actually shown at the first part, and she said, like, I didn't thought that my brother had more friends than me. He is more popular than me when I was in class. It was true. The brother made more friends, and there people are not being weird about him, just treating him as just another young boy in class. And my favorite chapter is that she shared that her experience with her brother together. They went to the playground. And I think that was one of the first posts that she did in 2019. Nanami is so humble. She doesn't even think she's a writer for some reason. And there was a chapter she's saying that, oh, I became a writer. I'm a writer now. I'm a writer. I'm just sharing my life story. I'm not really a writer, but to be honest, the way how she approached the story and telling all those funny stories, and also it showed in the TV shows how funny it is, and even the TV show scriptwriter like adopt the humor really well. Sometimes we feel like someone please comment to tell me that I did a good job, right? I think everyone need to tell Nami that, like, either it's your life or being a writer or being an entrepreneur yourself, you have done an amazing job. Sometimes people don't know how important that they are. Their existing already being a huge encouragement to other people's life. And I think Nami and all her family members are one of those people. We're lucky to have them in our life, and we're lucky to have Nami who write the books and post on the blog to share her story and her family's experience. I honestly think Nami did change the world in her own effort, within her own effort. This past winter when I was in Japan, I noticed a difference. On the bus in Kyoto, I was alone and I saw people that on wheelchairs more than before. And I saw people with disabilities passing by and with their volunteers or alone independently and holding others' hands and with no bad intentions and holding the bus. Even the person was, I remember on the bus that this child, I think it was Down syndrome, and then he couldn't help himself but holding the person's on the wheelchair's hand and was holding the bus slow. And there were no side eyes from the other passengers. And I saw everyone was being patient, waiting for them to take their time. And I definitely saw a more inclusive society. It was way more different than when I was a child there. I saw more kindness within people. So I think in a way that the world is changing, the people's values are changing, and I think Nami really achieved her goal, that she was able to smash all the stairs that stopped her mom and her to go into the places to enjoy food and good time, and smashed those walls in people's heart. A small step, and just from a blog. I think at the end here that I want to say that to my audience and also myself, that we all did a great job to be alive no matter what. And to my listeners, that I don't know where you are, but the fact that you can hear me throughout this podcast, I wish you all the best. Here, this is from me, Cordelia, over the ocean, that I want that you know that you have done an amazing job to be where you are right now, to be alive and to be able to breathe. Thank you again for listening. This episode is written by me, Cordelia. And I hope to speak to you soon in our next episode.